Hello everyone, welcome back to Arxangelrc and another episode of this Blast from the Past sort of series. The story with the Dornier is a bit different than the Mars one. I did make a video on it a while back, although that video in itself was very delayed compared to when I got the plane. The delay now is in the follow-up video, this one, which was supposed to come out relatively soon after the first, but again, for some reason I got distracted and kept getting distracted until now. Sadly, this plane's ultimate fate is more or less the same as the Mars one. There was a crash and I wasn't willing to invest more time or effort into it after that. There was just something about it that made me think it will never amount to what I was hoping for, so it wasn't worth it. But let's get back to the beginning. I started this build with the intent to keep it all manual and natural, no autopilots, and I did state that in the beginning of my review video 2 years ago, and then I completely failed to keep to that plan. CUAV sent me their then new V6X autopilot and the 9PS RTK set, and I was itching to try them out, so one thing led to another, and somehow I managed to convince myself that the Dornier would be the perfect platform to install this on, which wasn't even remotely true, but here we are. So my initial unaided flights were done on a 5S battery pack, and in fact with the exact same motor that is now pushing the MFE HEER into those clouds, but spinning a 12-inch prop. Sadly, that proved too low a voltage for the motor and that prop for any good amount of thrust, so for the next round of flying I made an 8S 1P battery pack, installed a high voltage ESC to handle said battery pack. I had to remove one of the front windshields in order to gain access to the inside of the fuselage, as there was no other good way to do that. Installed the autopilot and the 9PS rover module, my Flydream Telefly Tiny OSD module for the antenna tracker, and moved the elevator and rudder servos to the back of the tail. First, because I needed the space they used to occupy, and second because the stock setup with those super long and unsecured push rods was completely bonkers and not working properly, and would definitely cause issues with the autopilot's expectation of direct and solid control. So, as far as I can remember, fitting all of this in there and wiring it through that opening only was a struggle, but I got it done eventually. At the field, things were interesting. This plane had a weird tendency to turn left if I give it too much throttle suddenly, before it had time to pick up speed so wings and tail can start having an effect, which led to this stupid looking takeoff attempt. There was some damage on the landing gear, but I decided it was good enough to hold for a test flight. Sadly and apparently I did not film the actual takeoff, which led to this video sequence. Looking back now, I do find it interesting that this same motor and same ESC did not have the same type of stuttering when above 50% throttle, which was present on the MFE HEER despite running on the same 8S voltage. My only explanation is that the 12-inch prop used on the Dornier presented much less of a challenge for the system at 8S voltage than the 15-inch prop the HEER swings around. Now that flight ended like this. I don't remember why it ended like this, but the landing gear was probably the culprit due to the failed first takeoff attempts and it just nosed over on touchdown. I am glad I got to film it flying though, because things do not get any better than this. Oh, by the way, I do hope you noticed the plane had the flaps down during the chase sequence. I did everything I could to slow it down so the copter can catch up and keep up, else it was a bit too quick. Now, for the next flight session, I had made repairs to the landing gear, but was still very hesitant to do a rolling takeoff because despite the repairs, the thing was made very flimsy from the factory and I wasn't sure when it was going to buckle again. My solution was to give it a solid chuck with auto takeoff enabled, and that did the trick, although again you can see how the plane turned to the left as it was gaining altitude. There was something with this one and leaning to the left, that tells ya. And this becomes even more obvious during the landing. I landed, and as I was turning right towards me, the landing gear gave up and folded. How can it be so fragile? I told you this left-leaning stuff probably made it weak, thin-skinned and so on. It probably got offended by my right turn and it just gave up. Thing is, I expended a considerable effort to design in 3D print parts to make it tough again, which leads us to this day. And yes, I had said I will not be flying this plane at this location again, but I thought since I've reinforced the left-leaning landing gear now, and it was done the right way, things would be good. So on the first try, as I was correcting its attempt to once again go left, it somehow got its nose down and nosed over. As far as I recall, there was no visible damage, the landing gear seemed to be holding very well, only the RTK GPS antenna had been pushed more inside the body, which wasn't really an issue, so I gave it another try. This time I applied the throttle more gently, waiting for the tail to lift so I can get control authority so that I can counter any wrongful leanings, and just as it took off, it went left again and destroyed itself. And just in case you are somehow drawing parallels to what is happening in society and this video, there's something very wrong with you. I'm talking about planes here. So yeah, that happened. Nose came off completely, and the foam on this plane is one of those old foams from the before times. Before the current day dense, tough, flexible and so on foams they make planes out of. So just the thought of how this is going to be repaired gave me shivers, and just like the Mars, I have been tripping over this thing for quite a while, and I think it is time to remove whatever electronics I have left in it and to give it away to somebody who would not be so tired of its left leanings yet and would be willing to put in the time and effort in an attempt to make things right. Now, if you have enjoyed this video and found it useful, please do like and comment, it does help the channel grow. Also, if you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting that bell button so you can get notified when new uploads are made public. Because you see, YouTube members and Patreon supporters do get to see them first. And I'd also like to thank them and everyone who has and still is supporting this channel. Just in case you'd like to chime in, you can find more information in the description below, including links to all the gear used on this build. Happy flying, and I will see you soon.